South and Central America. But anyway, I have seen some things that people can do who don't have the symbols of spirituality. The reason why some people have this thing about cats is because, you know, Kemet, and it is an argument right now going on about who domesticated the cat. So we know that the Chinese domesticated the chicken, 1507. You know, the cows, and you know, the chicken is a jungle fowl and a vulture. The cow is a buffalo and an oxen. You know, the pig, the modern day pig, is a rat, a cat, and a dog. The modern day lamb is a llama and a mountain goat. A lot of the animals that people are eating, right, because to keep them on the farm, you got to domesticate them and keep them domesticated. Mm-hmm. They're crossing things. So the argument came up with who domesticated cats? Who in history did we see having cats living around them? Kemet, Egypt. Mm-hmm. So some people psychologically, when you see the person, they got their crystal ball and they got a cat, your mind psychologically goes to those, to that time period. Your time travel. So they must be deep. Mm-hmm. They must be deep. Everybody's spiritual on some level. You don't have to have the symbols of spirituality. There's symbols. You don't even. There's things that can happen and do happen that have nothing to do with what you call spirituality. So yeah, they talk about the crazy lady with cats. People that have a lot of cats. And then you could say, well, I don't have no cats. I ain't got to worry about toxoplasma. You live in a world where there's over 500 cats for every human being. They out there. They can pee on your lawn at night, crawl through your little fence and pee on your lawn. And you out there walking around. Toxoplasma is everywhere. It's not just in the cats. It's just that's the only place that the thing can mate. It can only mate in the digestive tract of modern day cats, which are not natural. I know you like them. You love your kitty kit. But it's not a natural being because it didn't eat you. It loves you. And okay, I'm not saying that I'm not trying to tell you that your cat is a bad thing. I'm saying that there are different beings that live in certain animals. And when you begin to live around animals, you catch things. I mean, syphilis. You know where syphilis comes from? Sheep. The only way people got syphilis, somebody had a relationship. Somebody got married out there in the barn with a sheep late at night. Do you take Mr. Jenkins the farmer to be your lawfully wedded?
Don't go there.
Husband? Yes, I do.
Come on, man. Come on, Doc. Man.
When those folks was coming over here from over there on them boats, this was before slavery. These folks was chased out. Some of them was, criminals and, heretics and, you know what I'm saying, religious whatevers and slaves and whatever they were. On boats, they lived in them boats for months, man, with animals, sleeping with pigs. Here you go. Right on YouTube, when you hang up, go to the YouTube called Guns, Germs, and Steel. It's Germs, Guns, and Guns, Germs, and Steel. I think that's what it's called. Germs, Guns, and Steel. Guns, Germs, and Steel. Watch that. This is a scientist breaking down how these beings that you thought was so powerful that came from Europe took over the world. And he's one of them. He's telling. And he says they didn't have to pull out no weapons. They walked up in there with diseases that they had, that they was carrying, right? They was carrying parasites that they got from the animals that they slept with. And they walked up to the tribe, right? And all they had to do was shake folks' hands and folks began to drop dead. And you think that they went to war and they were such great warriors. Come on, these people know the land. How are you going to win a war in a place you don't even understand the topography of the land? You don't know anything. You just got here. And you were able to, with all that stuff hanging, those shoes with buckles on them, and you know what I'm saying, and ribbons and funny clothes and weird stuff, and you was able to take over all these tribes. What did it? was disease, because a lot of them were running from the bubonic plague. I want you to remember this now, huh? And the black plague, huh? You know, these plagues, right? They were taking out whole cultures. And then people got on boats. Some of them were running from these diseases. And they came over here. Because you might have, you might have the thing in you, but it's inert right now. It's chilling. It's quiet. It's in a quiescent state. It's just sleep, in a little cyst. Then it gets here and says, we in Maryland? They wake up. And all of a sudden, these diseases, these things, is what killed off most of the tribes. That's how the West was won. In almost everywhere in the world, because the people were sleeping. I'm not, they lived in close proximity to animals. No one else did that around the world. You might say, well, no, but they were outside. You weren't in the hull of a boat with no sanitation for months. Can you imagine? That's why they said, when they got off the boat, the first thing the indigenous people said was, how? See, the white folks thought they were saying hi. No, they were saying how. How the hell you doing this? How is this working? But all those illnesses began to, infect the people. And that's how the West was won. Guns, germs, and steel. It's a really good 2-part documentary it's on YouTube. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
You was talking about being in what do you call that? The feed, where you was with the animals and you seen how they were
feedlots.
The feedlots. And there were cows in there, and I'm thinking about baby formula. You was talking about how the toxoplasma domesticates humans. If our babies are drinking this baby formula that it gets from these animals, does this baby formula domesticate us as soon as we come to this realm?
Well, your parents usher you into a way of living that they're in a certain rhythm. They're in a certain way, and they introduce you to it. Mm-hmm. So let's not even say if it's baby formula. Let's say it's just cow's milk, because baby formula is a little different. They made that. So if you're drinking cows,
I'm sorry.
There's an apostrophe after that W that gives it ownership. I remember that much from English class. The cow's milk. And you drink it. The molecule of calcium that's in cow's milk is huge. So if you take your fingers and do this and make a circle, let's say that's the size, relatively, of a molecule of calcium from a cow, and then take a little dot on it with a pen or a little piece of dust, a little piece of anything. That's the size of the molecule in your mother's milk. It's a different calcium. Mm-hmm. That calcium is going to make that little baby cow go from, however many pounds it's born, let's say it's 100 pounds or 50 pounds or whatever it is at birth, to what? Almost a half a ton within a very short time. That's not the same calcium molecule that we should be eating. And your body can only digest milk as long as you have lactase. Lactase is the enzyme that breaks down lactose. You only have that to the age of 5. Now, some people say, well, white people, they can. Well, see, the thing is a whole lot of white folks ain't all the way white no more. Folks, they're mixed. We hybrids. A lot of folks mixed. You understand what I'm saying? Now, they may have changed their names, took Jenkins away and took Williams away, and, they call themselves something else now. But people mixed. So there's very few pure, what you call original people, and there's very few, European people that are pure anymore. So there's a lot of issues going on in the gut where you are taking in the bacteria, the friendly bacteria, and the messages and the energy that's for a cow. The bacteria in your gut has a lot to do with who you are. And if you're taking in these bacteria from these animals, it's changing the bacteria in your mouth and your body. Let's say you eat a lot of chicken. There was a lady came to me one time and she was like, Dr. B, I got a lot of problems.
man.
I said, lady, I know what's wrong with you. You got chicken ears disease. She says, what is chicken ear? What is that? I said, you act like a chicken. You use a chicken head.
Man,
What do you mean? I love chicken. I get the best chicken. I love the wings. And she just went on. Her whole life was chicken. She stews chicken. She cans chicken. She is a chicken.
You dead wrong, Doc. You dead wrong, man. Come on.
I called my uncle. I used to call my uncle. He's passed away now. And I would call him on the weekends because he was always had some jokes and some stories, especially when he had that brown liquor. Right? I call him and I say, hey, how you doing, Uncle? Mm-hmm. I'm doing all right. So what's happening? Everything's all right. How's it going on out there in California? You got a new record coming out? He'll eat nothing but beef. He act like a cow. You are what you eat.
Mm.
And you know, pigs, they do not go oink. Some of y'all know that. You ain't never heard no pig go oink, oink, oink. Pigs sound like a rat, a cat, and a dog. That's what pigs sound like. Because they're a crossbreed. I'm talking about them little pink ones. We ain't talking about them wild boars. You ain't going to have that at the house. You can't even catch them. They're not going to hang out. Unless say you eat everything. Can you imagine how you sound? Because you sound based on the frequency that you're emitting based on what you ate. Now a whole lot of these animals, right, are coming home to roost because you ate the ghost and the children and the babies of these animals, and they come back to haunt you. You see, so when we stop doing something and replace it with something that's more effective, more for your life force, you change. Come on, I was the chicken wing master. You don't understand. I could put some chicken wings. I created this thing called broasting. I used to take chicken wings and put that seasoning salt on them. You know what I'm saying? I used to season them things down with MSG and everything else that was in that seasoning, salt and pepper and salt, and put it down in the bottom of the oven. Turn that sucker on broil. And I would roast them. I would cook them until they became stiff and hard and crisp. Man, people would come from everywhere to have my chicken wings. Them chicken wings was making me crazy.
Wow.
I would eat them and get high. You said, come on, man. We getting high off a lot of food. A lot of food is causing us to, be high. So we've got to, when we change, we've got to do a couple things. We've got to, cleanse and detoxify.